Definitely no. I've been in silence for about a week now. I had some spiritual attacks, and it just had me in my thoughts and trying to understand more about my life purpose and what I can do to be my best self and what I can do to help another person who may be going through something. And I just now did another video about we're not here just to buy, sell, and trade. We're not here just to work and die and get sick. No, um, work. Listen. And I think about all of the stuff that was given to us in the Bible, and I take little things and try to apply it to my life to see how, because there is no one person who can interpret that whole Bible from the beginning to the end, because then that would be saying that they to be all, know all. You see, and that's what people got to understand. There's too much discrepancy. You see, I get triggered by the Bible. Too much discretion, too much confusion, too much. You say, I say, this the right way. No, this the wrong way. No, this my way. No, this the way. It's just too much. But I got triggered just mentioning the Bible. But in the Bible, it says that I want to talk about relationships. It says that Adam asked God for a helpmate because you just constantly these platforms about what a man wants and what a woman wants and what a man don't like and what a woman don't like and what the man think that the woman did and what the woman think that the man did. You see, nobody is looking at the man in the mirror. It says that Adam asked for a helpmate. That's what it says. That's what I got. He asked God for a helpmate. I don't know if it says he asked Adam for a wife. I don't think it said he asked God for a girlfriend. I don't think it said Adam was specific about what this woman should look like. It didn't say what color this woman should be, what the length of her hair should be, what the size of her body should be, what the knowledge in her brains should be. In my understanding, he asked for a help mate. Now, where this marriage stuff come from, Daphne don't know. Because we don't have to be married. Nobody has to get married. There's man laws. Because a contract can be spiritually, it could be it could be physically, it could be financially, you see. It could be in writing. Those two people get to decide what they want to do together and be men of their words, that they will do these things together. And if they cannot do these things together, they will be men and women, you see, to be held accountable and make sure that each person is okay. Now, a helpmate means I want to do something with my life. And I'm not sure that I will have everything that it takes. So I would like for somebody to help me when I cannot find my way. That's my perception of help. You see, we cause ourselves all of these problems. In the Bible, it says there's no perfect one. No one is perfect. Not one. So if nobody is perfect, why is everybody pointing for somebody to be something that they are not? You see? Let's just say I'm the good looking one and my helpmate is not. I can't make my helpmate be good looking. But what is that? Who is the decider? Who is the reinterpretator of what is good looking? What is fine? You see? What is smart? What is kind? Who is the real interpretator of these words? Who had one word good and one word bad? I heard today they was talking about men are visual creatures. Why is that? Why would a man be a visual creature when God made everybody unique and individual? God didn't make everybody the way a man envision women. God made us unique and individual. But man decides to say, oh, we got to look this type of way right here. Woman got to look this type of way for me to be attracted to her. You see, that's where we mess up right there. Judging the exterior of a book. Judging people based on what they look like. This is why we're not getting anywhere. We have been taught to judge. We have been taught to put each other in a category based on somebody else's interpretation. Why are we not being taught to love each other as we are, you see? Because just like we can teach these men that a woman's supposed to look a certain way, we can teach men to love woman inner man. We can teach men to love a woman mind. We can teach men to love a woman heart. We can teach a man to love a woman's spirit and vice versa. Women keep a man got to have a certain amount of money. Money for what? You see? If you knew your value, whatever amount of money he make would be plenty of money if you knew what your value was. Because any man who want to give anybody any of his money finds them some kind of valuable to share. Because no man is going to be able to want. Then again, we do have some men that with women, they don't give them nothing. But that's a woman who don't know her value. And he doesn't know his neither. Because nobody taught him, you see, his value, his worth. So he can't do something that he don't know nothing about. See, we destroyed for the lack of knowledge. When I tell y'all, I've been quiet all week since last weekend. Now that I'm trying to talk, it's taking a little while to clear up my throat chakra. But we gotta stop this thing. See, if we understood we were spiritual creatures, we wouldn't look exterior. We would try to feel the spirit of a person. And that's what they don't want us to do. Connect on a spiritual level. If men would understand they are spiritual creatures, women are spiritual creatures. And women would understand men are spiritual creatures, they are spiritual creatures. And that we must connect each other on a spiritual mental level, on a spiritual heart level. Spiritual. But I mean, that's to use your 5 senses. By listening to the word that comes out of the woman's mouth. Out of the woman's mouth speaks her heart. Out of the man's mouth speaks his heart. And then we're not listening to hear each other. We're listening to respond to what each other. And that's the difference. When you listen to hear, and that's one of the things I learned to. I've learned to listen to hear what a person is saying. And that's how you're going to know where their wound is, where their trauma, where their patterns, programs, and pathology is. By listening to hear. And that's what I experienced this week. I listened to hear. And so it kept me from being triggered back into the space of the mind game that I experienced from my mother. We are never going to be in happy whole relationships if we are going to come in judging, if we're going to come in with stipulations, because nobody's never going to have wants, but the other person will have what you need. You see, there was a lady on Facebook. To me, I don't think she should have put that on Facebook, because that's between her children and her children's father. But again, when a woman wants to be right and she doesn't want to be declared as the wrong person, she's going to try to make the man look bad, regardless if this man is not in his child life, regardless if this man was deadbeat. That's her perception. Putting him on blast, having a text conversation with his child, did not need to be on Facebook. You see, that's a person who is hurt, and hurt people do hurtful things. You see, so I went in the Spirit says to ask her, how does she attract a deadbeat man? Because that's what she's calling him, a deadbeat dad. So I said, can I ask you, how did you attract a deadbeat man into your life? You see? See, we want to project that he's a deadbeat. So how did you attract a deadbeat man? And then someone is backing her up by calling the man deadbeat. I asked her, how did she identify with a deadbeat dad? You see what I'm saying? What makes her know deadbeat? You see? She had to have experienced a deadbeat person. You get what I'm saying? In order for her to know that's what he was. See, that's projection. That is projecting. And she could not understand what I was trying to show her. How could you see that in him if that's not what you are or have experienced or know of? Who told you what a deadbeat man was, a deadbeat dad was? You see? For you to know he is one. So again, I went back and I said, maybe his father was not there. You see? So he don't know what it's like. He has no experience with that. He can only be the father like his father was to him. We are our kids' first teachers. And we teach them directly and indirectly. Everything that we say and do, we're teaching it to our children. You see? So again, we're not being programmed the right way. If everyone would look at themselves, if have looked at herself, how did I attract this man into my life? Then she could sit down with that and accept that. And then she could explain to her children, your father's not a deadbeat. You see? But no, she wanted to make him the bad guy before she looked at herself. It takes two people to be in a relationship. When we go in a relationship trying to make people be what they are not, we try to make people be what we want them to be for our personal reasons, for our own self-gratification, whichever way it may be, just like I talk about with the businesses, you see. Not have life without somebody else in this world. No, Marlon. Everybody needs somebody. When I say everybody needs somebody, I literally mean everybody needs somebody. You can't have a job without a boss. You see, you can't have a job without a business, and you can't have a business without workers. You see, you can't have a mother without being birthed. And you can't have a mother without the daddy being with the mother to make you come into this existence. You can't be in a relationship without the opposite sex. You can't have children without having sex with somebody else. You see, you can't go to the grocery store and buy nothing. Nobody don't build a grocery store. You see, so this thing set up where everybody needs everybody at all times. No man is an island. And until we realize that we all got to be here and we all got to wait for it to work for all of us, that this is how we're going to keep spinning. And we keep on repeating this relationship cycle. If we knew what we wanted before we went in a relationship, if we knew who we were before we went in a relationship, 9 or 10 times we wouldn't even go into a relationship because we know who we are. We know how we are. We know what we will and will not tolerate. We know our self-worth. And once we start talking to somebody, and the first red flag that we see, because we have built up the self-worth, we won't even go any further and waste no time. You see? But because we don't know the self, because we're in our lower nature, you see, our carnal nature, our bestiality, our selfishness, is why we keep making these mistakes. This is about us knowing ourselves, knowing the God in us, the divine in us. You see, if everybody understood the divine inside of themselves, connect with the divine in themselves, the divine masculine in yourself, the divine feminine in yourself, and keep that balance, then we can have what it takes to be in a relationship with somebody else who knows the divine and masculine within themselves, because everyone has it. You see, you got masculine and feminine energy. But we're not operating from the divine masculine and divine feminine energy, which is your Christ conscience, you see. Everybody want what they want, which is selfishness. Everybody don't have what you want. And if everybody had what you want, then how would you relate to that person, you see? How would they challenge you to be better, you see? Because if they had everything that you want, then you got to have everything that they want. And we know that's going to be impossible because a relationship means to relate to somebody other than yourself. We're in relationships to relate to somebody other than ours, to see ourselves, to see how we can perfect ourselves. But we keep going in this relationship not wanting to look at ourselves. When we get triggered in these relationships, we get rattled in this relationship, we try to suppress each other in the relationship. We try to overpower each other in the relationship. You see, we don't respect each other's space in the relationship, each other's mind in the relationship. Two people coming together, trying to relate to each other. We've been programmed to just relate on a sexual energy and not understand each other's mental mind, how each other love language is. You see what I'm saying? How each other communication skills are. Because we all were brought up by our parents, guardians, you see, and we don't know what that looks like to each other. We all have our own patterns, programs, and pathologies. And those things are embedded into us. Anything you do for 21 days, it's a habit. 60 days is a program. So we stuck in our ways because we have done things more than 60 days. From a child to an adult. So now you're going to get in a relationship with another adult who have been raised totally different from you. So you want that person to just change what they have been given as a child in their parenting or vice versa. So that means somebody going to suppress somebody? No. We have to understand when we go and get in relationships, we're there to relate to the other person. And if it gets to the point we cannot relate to this person, that means get out of that relationship or look at the man in the mirror. What am I willing to sacrifice to be in this relationship because they are who they are? That it is not personal. You see, people get triggered in relationships. And when you are triggered in a relationship, it's asking you to look at a pattern. It's asking you to look at a program. It's asking you to look at a pathology that does not work in this relationship. You see, we can't keep doing what our parents did and their parents did, and it caused problems in relationships. The template needs to be changed. Men have to get this visual thing. A woman got to be looking a certain way for what? Why must a woman look a certain way for a man when all women have a hole in the front, a hole in the back, a hole here? You see what I'm saying? Two booms. Women have the exact same things. So it must look good for the man. So when you're going in there, what a man loses eyes while in this relationship with this look good woman. Now you done lost your eyesight and she done got all out of whack. Will that be important then when you go blind? If she got a nice look of body? Or will the way she treats you be more important? You see? See, we're worried about the wrong things. We're programmed to worry about the wrong things. We need to look at how a person treats a person, speaks to us, how a person deals with us, not how a person looks. The beauty is within. That's where the beauty at. It's within. So these men need to stop this visual thing and all of this. We can eat healthy, we can do it together, we can work on. But that doesn't mean one has to force the other one to do something because they're doing it. I don't care how attractive a person is, everybody still gotta die. So what is this thing we have to be looking a certain way when we all gotta die? We got a lot of unconscious behaviors that's causing us these problems. And until we start looking at each other and what we are doing that doesn't work for each other, we're going to repeat this. We're going to send this to our grandchildren. You see, our children, our grandchildren, and our great-grandchildren. Change the template. Stop judging books by the cover. Be the person you want to see in the world, you see. If you want to see more attract, people want things that they're not even doing, you know. Men have too many expectations on women. Women got too many expectations on men that are causing us not to be in a unit, in a trinity. If we teach each other to love each other as we are and help each other to better each other, but not force each other, you see, help each other, better each other. Because when you're speaking life into someone, it gives them the energy to want to change. When you are dictating and dominating what a person going to do and what they ain't going to do for you to be in their life, this is where we cause problems for each other. Because if you see this person don't have what you want when you go into the relationship, don't go into the relationship. But we have something about us. We go into this relationship not seeing what we want, hoping that we can change it when we get in it. You see? And how is that going to be possible? Because two people have to be on one accord. They have to be on one accord for it to work. And that's the problem. We are not on one accord. Because there's too much. You got to be this certain way. You got to do it this certain way. You got to look this certain way. You got to sound this certain way. Nobody is free to be their authentic self. I just want to be authentically Daphne. I want to be original Daphne. I don't want to put on a fake and phone. I don't want to put on facades. I don't want to put on masks. I want to be free to be me. And if I'm comfortable in this skin of mine, we don't have a problem because I got to live in this skin. Everybody have to live in themselves. And if people would be okay with being with themselves, we would not have these problems. When you're not okay with being with yourself, you put that on to someone else. So when we love ourselves unconditionally, nobody's going to come and change what you love. You're not going to even allow that in your life. So again, look at this thing. This Bible says, Adam asked for help me. Do you men want somebody to help y'all? Or do y'all want somebody to boss around, dictate, dominate, suppress, put your feet on their neck, silence them, make them small, put their lights out, use and abuse them, you see? This is why men not getting anywhere. This is why they're not evolving. That's why they're spinning and chasing their tails. Because they got too many small expectations, you see, of a woman. When they're not setting out on a pedestal, came from one. You can't get here without coming through the womb of a woman. You see? So I think we need to look at what we're doing. We need to do things that makes the world a better place. And pointing fingers, telling people how they should not look, it's not going to make this world a better place. Because that person going to put their guard up, you see? Then the person going to look for your imperfections. Because nobody's... And they ain't going to have to look for it. The universe is going to show it. You see, because whatever you vibrating on, if you're vibrating on their imperfection, then the universe going to keep showing your imperfections. You see? If you're vibrating on I accept you as you are, then that person is going to accept you as you are. Flaws and all. Mistakes and all. Every day we're supposed to be better in ourselves. Bettering ourselves. Every day we're supposed to be trying to do something that helps another person grow and evolve. Help one, reach one, and teach one. But we're not doing that. We keep on trying to dominate. Where did this spirit come from? You see, suppressing people, oppressing people, dominating people, overpowering people. We got to look at that spirit. We can put it on a system and the people in the elite all we want. In order for us to be able to see that, detect that spirit in these people who are in high places or in high power or powers that be, we have that in us. If I could see it in them, then I have it in. Nobody's overpowering me and no elite, no rich, no powers that be. I have self-control of me. I have power that I'm trying to empower people with. But if you can see that the powers that be are overpowering people, then you got to ask yourself why. You can see that. I'm trying to empower. I'm trying to tell people it is okay to be authentic and original. I'm not a people pleaser. I want to be okay with being who I am. If I got a problem with me, I'm going to change it. Nobody's not going to change me because they got a problem with me. If they got a problem with me, they better go look in the mirror, because I am who I am. And if they like me, they should love me. You see? Or if I like it, they should love me. I don't know if I said it the same way 2 times, but you get the point. We got to look at the man in the mirror. We have to be okay with loving people as they are, because this is why we're divided. Because somebody thinks they're better. Somebody thinks they should have more. You see? And that's where the problem coming in. We all are same. We're all perfectly made in God's image. Everybody have imperfections. And it's up to you if you want to work on your imperfections. It's not up to nobody. And if you choose not to work on your imperfection, then guess what? You're still supposed to be lovable. Simple as that. Because no one is perfect, and no one will ever be perfect. No one will ever be perfect. Because you wouldn't have no purpose to be here if you was perfect. We're here to learn. So if you're perfect people don't come in a world where you got to learn things. So we need to be learning more about ourselves and stop trying to make people be what we want them to be. There's too much that we could be learning about ourselves and to be worrying about what somebody got, what somebody doing, or what somebody ain't doing if it ain't affecting our lives. You see? We are making stinks and fusses and division if it's not hurting you from breathing, walking, talking, seeing, hearing, eating, and a roof over head. Let people be. And then I help someone. You see? That's what I'm trying to do. Help one, reach one, and teach one. We are authentic and original. We're one of a kind. So allow people to be their unique, authentic self. And relate to who this person is, because we have never been taught to learn to love the inner man of a person, the soul of a person. We've been taught to judge the book by the cover. So we have to understand what the spiritual essence of a human being is and connect with that. That's what's important. The spiritual connection, not the physical. Because when you are connecting with someone, you're connecting with them on a spiritual level. Men want you to be looking a certain way because they're visual creatures, but they do not understand when they connect with a woman, that's a spiritual connection. Spiritual connection. Your does not make you connect with that woman's soul. You can look at a woman all day who fine as wine, but you will never know her until you connect with her spirit. You will only see her because you see 36, 24, 36 and beautiful and all of this and go intertwine with her and she full of the devil. The connection is spiritual. So men need to start looking at this and start looking at the soul of a woman. Lord, I just not heard that song in my mind. That man made that song, something about a woman. They need to go look at that. They need to go listen to that. The soul of a woman. That's what it's about. The soul of a woman. The soul of a woman. The soul of women. It's about the soul. Connect to the man's soul. Not to his money. Not to his wallet. Connect to his soul. So that's what I want to come chat about. You know, we ask for man and woman. And in order for us to be together, we're going to have to relate to each other. Past the physical. And understand each other on a spiritual level, on a mental level, you see. On an emotional level. And accept people as they are. Because people are who they are and that's who they are. Nobody can change nobody. That's why we have all these problems. Because people are trying to change people. So if I change and be who you want me to be, then I ain't who I am. I'm who you want me to be. But I ain't who you want me to be. I am who I am. And that's who I am. And so let me be who I am. So you can, you am, and we can put them I ams together. And teach everybody else to be. I am who I am. That's who I am. Yes? That's going to get on out of here. Let us sizzle in your spirit. I hope this help one, reach one, and teach one. Because that's all I'm doing is trying to talk. Trying to make this world a better place. Because we done learned a lot of stuff that didn't help us. It didn't help us do anything. grow and evolve to be our best self. Now we have a chance to grow and evolve, to connect to the spiritual realm. You see people on the spiritual level, connect on the spiritual level without the physical, because everything is energetically, spiritually woven together, energetic thread that connects us all together on a spiritual level, because we just spiritual creatures experiencing being human. Simple as that. I'm going to get on out of here. I love y'all. Namaste.